All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order, and we're going to add, we need someone to write a views article, so I'm going to add that to our new business section. And with that done, we have the minutes of August 9th.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes of August 9th.
No, second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have warrants 4 and the payroll 4P.
I'll make a motion that we approve warrants 4 and 4P.
Second that.
Okay, any discussion? Warrant 4 is for $40,307.67, and a lot of that was going to the allocations from the town meeting to the various groups and organizations and we fund. There's also a sheriff's bill, Windham County Humane Society contract, fuel for the highway department, and payroll taxes. Any other discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. ARPA funding, the highway garage roof repair. I spoke with Lee at noontime, and as of noontime, he's still waiting for the company to get back to him to confirm a price. So he'll let us know as soon as they do.
Okay, so we'll table that for now.
Yep.
So the church asked me what was happening with their tent request
Yeah.
funds.
Do you want to do that in this section?
Do you want to do it further down? That's fine.
Either way.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Okay, then here we are going into public comments, and we have Mark Younger. Do you have some public?
Yeah, I gotta, I speak loud because I'm half deaf.
That's
So,
all right.
Alright. I got one of these for everybody.
Nice color.
I would
Everything.
prefer red,
Thank you.
but
Okay. One for you. Okay. I'm gonna start with, this is about my permit that I was put off on. I have a lot of questions to ask. You're the chair?
Yeah,
Okay, to ask the chair.
should we go around the table?
yes, let's do that.
What's that?
I'm Louis White.
Okay.
Alex Wilson.
Alex what?
Wilson.
Wilson, okay.
Zeke Goodband.
Okay.
Todd Davidson.
Okay.
Maria Clayback.
Okay. And Roger, I believe I know Roger. Okay. So, I bought some property down here at 654 Mill Road. Been going through the wetlands permit, been 9 months in the process. I applied for my town permit. 1 through 5 on these papers are things that I want to discuss. Starting on number 1, which is Roger asked me, hi, I drove by the property, did not see my sign out, my poster. I immediately sent back the second page, which shows my no trespassing sign, and below that it shows the sign saying, yeah, there it is, so, so sent that to him. And went through a little bit of an ordeal on the 15-day deliberation, waiting for people to put in comments. I come to find out on the 15th day that the 15th day don't count, it's the 16th day. From what Roger told me, the first day does not count. So it went to the 16th day, and I did not know that. And in the process of getting the permit signed, getting the application done, he didn't tell me that, And I've always been, I want to be 100% clear on everything. And he did not tell me that. That's number one. Number two, page 3, 2 people signed a comment. It went down through, it's about a boundary line. My engineer went through, marked it. I think they're still upset over it. But I guess the question comes down to, if they want, they can get their own engineer and have someone go through and mark it themselves too. But I paid like $750 to have them do one line. They signed it. Okay? So in the comment bylaws, which I cannot find to save my life, which is when you put a comment in, you have to be within the 15 days. I believe you have to sign it, and I believe you owe the town a check for $115, if I'm not wrong on that. So, page 3.
Is that correct?
So,
I mean, is there people have to pay a fee to put in a protest against somebody's,
No, the appeal,
the appeal? I mean,
the $115 is $100 to advertise the public hearing and $15 for the state recording fee. So the total is $115.
so that person,
The appellants bear the cost.
so the people that put in this had to pay that?
Yes.
Okay,
I hold their check currently.
okay.
Okay, so my question was, is each comment, they have to be signed, dated, and each person has to put in the $115 fee or not? I couldn't find it on anywhere. I did not even know that you had to pay anything, you know?
Neither did I.
Well,
I didn't even.
but there we go. So we're all on the same page.
Right.
You know, I'm anal about stuff like this, you know. Well, why isn't it on there? You know, maybe it is. I can't
Okay.
find it.
Okay, Roger?
If you look on the schedule of fees for zoning permits and you scan down it, you will see lines for appeals and DRB hearings, and that's where it's located
It says the 115 because I could not find that.
on the fee schedule. It's $100 for the cost of the hearing.
I understand it, but
To
I did not
advertise
see it in there.
Yeah, it's on there.
Okay, you're gonna have to show me it because I looked a lot and I couldn't find it. So, okay, going on to page 4. Okay, page 4 basically has the other people's names that I believe page 3 typed up the document and typed in all these other people's names. They signed theirs, but they didn't sign anything on page 4. Not one signature. But, so my question was, is that legal for starters? Does anybody know?
I can tell you, I don't. Oh,
So what
Roger?
you're saying
Well,
is
I-
this one, number 3, they gave the address, so it's for specific people.
They signed the bottom,
Sure.
but they did not pay the $115.
Yes,
Okay.
that's right. And
So-
then,
So this,
You just want to be
if
clear about
I could clarify what this is.
Yeah.
This is a letter to the DRB. This is not an application. This is not an appeal. This is a letter to the DRB.
Okay.
which letter? This letter?
Number
3?
Number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3. That's your comment, correct?
This is a letter to the DRB.
But
But
is
it's-
this a comment or not?
No, it's not an appeal,
It's
right?
not an appeal?
No, it's not. This can be entered as testimony. These people can enter this letter as testimony at the hearing, but this is not the appeal itself.
So
The appeal
nobody,
itself is number 4.
what's that?
The appeal itself is number 4.
Okay, and nobody signed it. So is that legal?
People don't sign applications
Is
a
it-
lot.
Okay, so we're gonna get to the
So-
point, the skinny of it. Is it in the bylaw saying you have to sign something or not?
No.
And if not, why isn't it? Because how do we know they actually wanna protest this?
this hearing is gonna happen in 2 months.
That's not the point.
And
I'm
I'm gonna
asking a
follow
certain
up
question.
and ask them. I'm
I'm
gonna ask
here asking clarity.
them. If they haven't signed it anywhere, I will ask them to sign it. This happens a
No,
lot.
but no, this was supposed to have been put in by the 11th, all done, signatures, the fee dropped off at this office by a certain date and a certain time, what you told me. If they didn't do what was right, what is supposed to happen? You're the chair, you tell me.
I'm not a zoning administrator, so.
But
I
you're in
ask-
charge.
Yeah, so I'll ask Roger, what's the
So,
deal?
this happens all the time. People forget to sign their applications.
That's not,
And I follow up with the applicants and they sign it. It's not a big deal.
it is to me though, Roger.
Well, okay, so going
You
forward.
told me sitting in
so-
that chair.
Will you let me
that-
speak, please?
No, wait a minute.
Will
You told me
let
sitting in
speak?
that chair.
Right,
Hold on.
Yeah, okay,
I'm
go
trying to
ahead.
answer Zeke's question.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so what will happen is when we go to the hearing, Mark can tell the DRB that he's upset about that point. And if he doesn't like what the DRB writes as their answer, then he can appeal that to the state.
Okay, so what I'm looking at though is 100% clarity because I can't trust you at this moment. I need clarity. I need it on the documents on your website telling me that yes or no, you have to sign it. Not saying that you're going to get someone to sign it. Is it in there saying they're supposed to sign it or not?
Not
No?
that I'm aware of, no.
So you don't, it doesn't matter either way to you. And you're the one that wrote
No,
that
it
law?
does matter.
Or is it the town that wrote that law?
It's not, he did not write that law.
Who wrote it?
It would be,
Probably state statute.
So we need to find out if the state statute
Yes,
says
Montpelier.
you're supposed to sign it or not. Is that what we need to do?
There's a space on the application to sign it.
Right, but nobody signed
Whether
it.
there's a law saying that, I don't know.
And whether,
Okay.
if they didn't sign it, does it invalidate their appeal?
That's what
that's
I'm
what it
here
sounds
for.
like he's, that's what it
That's
sounds like.
exactly what I'm
you're
here
saying.
for.
Yeah.
Right.
Alright, so,
I hear that.
okay,
I mean,
moving on. Number 5.
But they,
3/4 of the way down,
they did submit a check with this.
one person did.
Well, I don't think they,
Can you piggyback or not, I guess is the question.
I don't think
A
you
group,
could.
a group of residents can appeal as a group.
So you can piggyback.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the town itself, I feel, in this town needs as much money as possible. I think that should be changed.
well, Mark,
No,
to begin with, you didn't even think you needed to pay. Neither
Right,
did-
because I
neither
didn't
did
have the
I.
law, I didn't know the law at the
Yep.
time.
I didn't know.
Nobody told me about that. I found out from the lady Laura sitting here in the office.
Lori, okay.
Lori,
The
Lori,
town,
Lori.
town clerk.
Yeah, town clerk.
So this is state statute that defines who interested parties are and who can appeal. This isn't the town, this is the state that defines that. So a group of citizens can appeal as a group.
Okay, let's move on to this one.
okay.
Number 5, 3/4 of the way down, on July 28th, the town administrator told Isha Williams in an email about my permit, my sign. Did you actually do that?
So if you will let me answer this with a full answer. Isha has been emailing me for 8 months every week asking, since you bought the property, every week whether you put an application in. And I answered him every week, no, no, no. You put the application in? I emailed him and said, you put the application in. I'm just doing that as a courtesy. There's no law, it's a courtesy.
So you're impartial to me then?
No, it's public
No.
record.
And it's
Okay,
all
then I
public
want to
record.
see all those emails. I want to
They-
see
they said-
every single one.
That's public record too.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah,
I want to see them.
absolutely.
So when would I get those? I will get them from
It's
you?
gonna take me
And
time
they will
to
be
print.
dated and everything.
Well, it's Gmail, it's gonna have the date on it.
It's got to have the date on it.
I don't understand what this has to do with the process.
Well, it's a
Fine.
lot to do with the process. I'm worried that I think I'm being railroaded. And I'm here to prove certain things aren't being fair. And sitting here when I gave you that check, you said you were gonna be impartial to everything. You never told me about Isha Williams sending you an email all the time wanting to know anything about me.
Hey, Mark,
Why didn't
Mark,
you do that?
I know you're deaf.
Yeah,
But
okay,
can you
all right,
Yeah.
all right,
lower-
sorry.
Shut it down.
Okay, so why didn't you tell me?
It's public record.
No, why didn't you tell
If
me?
somebody asks me if somebody has a permit for something, I'll answer them. It's not, I'm transparent. I don't hide anything.
So why didn't you tell me?
You didn't ask.
Okay, didn't ask, yeah, okay, that's how you're gonna play it. Okay, so the other one was, I guess these people are talking to him, saying, you know, that the permit wasn't out between 7:31 and 8:10, which when I sent him the picture showing where it was and everything. And you can just pass this around, you see the date, I guess you're first because you're the chair.
Right.
At the very top, you'll see the date and the time. And it falls within the guidelines.
So all of this is part of the appeal.
It doesn't matter, I'm here because I feel you railroaded me. And it's not right. That's why I'm here. You understand?
Mark,
I hear you.
Yeah,
no, we're not here to
Okay.
attack anybody.
I'm not. But I'm feeling certain things, and certain things aren't being told to me that should have been told to me. And it's the same thing like the fee. I had to come and find out, because I said to Lori, I said, did they send the letter in? And she said yes, and I said, did they sign it? And she said, well, 2 people did. And I was like, well, what's that mean? That red flagged myself there. And then she said there was 1 check. And I said, how many people signed it? And she said there's a group of people, different people. But she said nobody signed that. You know, so partially, you know, how would you feel about something like this that happened to you like this? No signature, you know, he says it's only 1 check. You know, he says it's okay to email people that he was constantly being asked, why didn't he, being impartial, why didn't he tell me? Right?
Wouldn't think he'd need to.
You wouldn't think he'd need to?
No.
Why not?
Because the process is it will go to the DRB and you'll be notified, and that's how the process will go.
So it's okay to,
I see what you're saying. I understand what you're saying about it is you're saying that one group kept asking him
yeah,
and he never told you that a group was asking about your permit.
right?
That's what.
There's a wicked red flag there on my behalf.
So, would you have expected Roger to forward every email you had with him to everybody that's touching your property or not? You can't have it both ways.
You can have anything I have, you know,
Right, but
with him. Yes,
So-
I would say yes,
Okay.
if that's the case. But the point is, I shouldn't have to find it out after the fact, when the letter came in, after all the comments were supposed to be done. I did my due diligence to check on all this stuff.
Right.
And now he's telling me that he had multiple emails sent to him.
Sure.
He could have told me he didn't.
Right, but he could have told other people something about you and he didn't.
Well, he told a group of people about that he gave my permit.
Okay. Public record.
Right,
So
yeah.
the question simply was, would you expect him to take all the emails that you had between him and Roger and forward them to everybody without them asking?
I would expect him to do whatever he needed to do, what his legality should have been.
Right. And we think his
And I think the same thing is, if you're sitting in a chair giving the man a check to get your permit, I would believe that that man would tell you everything that was going to happen
so
in that process.
so in order of things presented here that you're talking about, so what's the issue with the 15-day, 16-day? and
Well,
and
that was something I found out after that Roger said, no, the first day doesn't count.
Yeah, so what, are you implying that these are late?
I'm not implying that they're late,
Okay,
no.
so what does
I
the
am
15,
applying,
16 have to, what's the point?
well, because it says down here that I didn't put my sign out in time. And I did, and that's why I took the picture, that's why I have the picture documented saying when I did.
July 30th, right?
Right.
So if the clock start on July 30th, is that how it works?
It's a 3-day grace period, with actually on the, I believe, unless I'm wrong, is you have an additional day because his clock doesn't start to the next day after he sends it out. That's what he told me in an email.
Okay. So the clock started on the 28th.
28th, right.
And
And you got 3 days,
and-
you're supposed to post it within 3 days.
Sure. And just using the 28th, that would be, when does that time expire then?
It was the 11th, I believe. Is it,
Okay.
Roger?
I never challenged you on this, Mark.
Okay, so that would make sense. So it's 31 days in July, right?
Yeah.
So 3 days plus 12 more is the 12th of July, 12th of August. But we could say it's the 11th.
I think it was the 11th.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so accepting that is what we're going on. I understand the 15-day, 16-day thing doesn't start. That doesn't have any effect on when people file the appeals. They filed on the 11th of August.
They had to be in within 15 days.
Right, and
You
I
know.
just said it, either the
Yeah.
11th or 12th.
Yeah, yeah, that's,
So the
yeah.
appeal was in on time.
Right,
So-
so I didn't know about the signatures. I didn't know anything about the
I just want to take
checks.
it a step at a time.
Right,
The 15-16 day was the first thing that came up.
yes,
Has no effect whatsoever on what we're talking about.
right, that's right, that's right. There,
So
you
we
know,
can
the
set
only thing
that-
was is that he
Okay.
said,
I understand.
he said on the,
Okay, wait.
Go ahead.
Stop.
Makes sense. I
Right.
get it. It would be
Okay.
weird if somebody said it was 15 days, but it should have been 16.
Right.
But that didn't.
I
that
did
doesn't-
not know that.
I know, but that doesn't affect any of this.
No, it does not affect
Okay.
anything.
Okay,
So-
good, wait.
And when,
Okay, so
yeah,
cross
Let's
that
just
off
take it
our
one at a
list
time.
now.
yeah,
So the
Okay.
next thing is you said that Lori, when you called her, said that there was an appeal and that it had 2 signatures.
on the first page,
On the first page, right? But
Yeah.
there were 2 signatures. There were
Yeah.
signatures applied to
right,
maybe not everybody.
right. Well, I
But-
didn't know,
but-
I didn't see the paper at that point.
Todd, that's not an appeal though.
It's this one.
Right, 3
Okay.
is not an appeal.
Yeah, I
The
understand.
appeal is the other one.
Right.
okay?
So
I
the
just
appeal
wanted-
had no signatures.
Right.
The appeal had no signature.
Okay,
Page 4
number
had,
four.
Right. So,
had no
okay.
Right. So
signature,
the question there is that required or not required for it to be moved?
right?
Right. So
And who am I gonna find that out from?
State statute is where it comes from, so we'll have to find that out.
Okay,
So that there's going to be 2 results from this. Either it doesn't have to be signed. If it does, it's not valid. Or it has to be signed, and it wasn't, so it's not valid. Or it doesn't have to be signed, and it's perfectly valid, right?
right,
So those are going to be the 2 options, right? Which is what you're looking for. Is this a valid appeal or not?
correct.
Okay, and so statute will tell us that.
Can I ask,
Right.
now Roger, if it, say it did need to be signed, and it's not signed, then it's invalid, would that mean he'd get his permit? Or his permit would be, it wouldn't have to go to the DRB at that point, or would he still have to go through the DRB? Because the appeal would be invalid, so.
I would want to check with a lawyer about that, because I'm not sure whether it needs.
No, I'm just saying, let's just say that it needed the signatures on it.
If
and it did-
legally it needed a signature
Yeah,
and
if
it
legally,
doesn't have
and
it,
it doesn't have it.
I still think it's up in the air. Even if without the signature, I think it still would be up in the air.
We're guessing. We'll just have to find out.
Yeah, we're
Right.
guessing.
Either it is or it's not.
Yeah.
One or the other. So we'll have a result for that.
And you will tell me, or one of you?
Of
Yeah.
course.
Okay,
And then the third thing was the $115 fee.
right, I did not,
So does everybody
know
have
about
to
that.
submit it, or can it be a 1 fee for the entire appeal?
well, can people piggyback, or
That's what I'm
does
saying,
every
yeah.
single person's
Yep.
names, groups, you know,
So we either
two
need 5 times.
husband and wife, can they put?
We either need 5 times 115 or 1 times 115.
It's only
Right.
being advertised one time.
Yeah,
So again, we can
we'd
clarify
be
that.
gouging them if we,
Well, I looked at it as if you're submitting something, you know, the point still comes down to, how is it that you can piggyback?
So, I guess,
because there's a.
Again, it's not in the rules, you
It's in
know.
the state
It
statute.
is in the state statute.
Alright,
So
so
they
I'm
can-
looking at the town versus the state.
Right.
Alright,
Right, so
The
So it ha-
the state,
so that one
Yes.
there, it says
Right.
that they can do it, so
they
they
can't
can.
piggyback, then,
So-
okay, yeah, so,
so the
Yeah.
115 was enough.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah,
And I just pulled up the zoning permit fee schedule online, and it shows $100 application fee for an appeal and $15 recording fee. So it seems like it's there, you know.
Per person or one time?
Per appeal.
Per appeal.
Per appeal. So page 4 is the appeal?
Right,
Yeah.
page 4 is the appeal, so they gave the 150, they gave the 110, I mean 100, and then the
100 plus
15.
So then page 3 does not
No,
apply?
because that is
that's
not an appeal.
Okay, okay.
That's a letter to the DRB.
And I think the assumption
Yeah.
Roger made was that if it came with a check, you know, it's a,
Right.
you know, it's a valid appeal.
I didn't know, that's why I'm
Yeah,
asking.
yeah.
Nobody told me.
we assumed that the check was signed.
Yes,
hope.
I did check that.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
hope.
And so,
And making sure that it cleared. Hey, I'm gonna go right to the point.
Sure.
Did it clear or not? You know?
Well, no,
it's
that-
in escrow right now, I think.
It's my policy never to cash a check until I actually place the ad.
Mhm.
So that will happen on the 30th,
Okay.
Of-
And you guys gotta understand,
or the
this,
last day of September.
this whole
Okay.
thing has been
So
going
it's
on
up
for
September.
9 months.
Now, I
And
guess,
go ahead, sorry.
I've got another question, I guess, because I was reading about the 115 here. Not the 115, yeah, the 115. So, if is this a legitimate, we're not questioning whether he had this posted in time now?
No, I'm not questioning.
Okay, I just, yeah.
The appellants are questioning.
That's what I'm saying, but that,
That's up to the DRB.
That's up to the DRB to say it was posted in time, or me
Well,
sending the
it's part of
picture.
their appeal.
Okay, but me sending the picture to you with the email saying what time I sent it to you.
Yeah, that's evidence.
Yeah.
You're going to submit
Well,
that, or
you-
do I have to
You
submit?
you submit it. That's your evidence.
Okay. All right. Just want to know what,
Yeah, sure.
I gotta have clarity.
You can
huh?
take notes if you
Yeah.
want.
No, believe me,
Okay,
one time, that's all you gotta say.
all right.
So, all right, but, you know, when I come here for other stuff, I shouldn't have to ask you, did somebody send you emails asking things? You should be telling me, why is it that I have to drag it out of you? Which
Okay.
I think it's fair
Mark, I can
work.
honestly say I have never had somebody email me for 6 or 7 months asking if somebody has a permit. But how was I to know if you were ever even going to put a permit in? You had the land for sale for a while.
Because I didn't know if I could build on it, because
Well,
of the wetlands
I can't read your
permit.
mind.
That's okay,
So
that's okay,
I was just saying, no, you haven't put a permit in,
right?
which was the truth.
Right. Well, let's get to the point, what I just asked you.
What?
Why is it that I have to ask you for everything? When you take an application, Mark, here's the application, I give you the check. By the way, so-and-so is really, I had to send them emails. By the way, the 15 days doesn't start to 16 days. You didn't tell me any of that. I had to find that out myself. And that's very upsetting to me. Why didn't you tell me that? Because you did say that had to be out in 3 days, but you did say it doesn't start to the next day. So would that have meant the same thing with the sign being out there? Or would I have to been in the first 3 days, or do I got the 4th day or not?
Let me answer this last part of the question first.
Yeah.
So, if I mail these, correct?
Yeah, I
Right.
guess so. Or
So
they do.
you cannot count on the post office to deliver it in a timely fashion always.
Mm-hmm.
So there is leeway. The town policy is that the applicants bear the responsibility to post their notices. I don't go out and post the notices. So there is flexibility in there. The intent is that the abutters are notified of the permit. That intent was met.
And I made sure that that was met because my engineer did it to everybody. Sent them out all the prints, everything. All the
But I'm
abutters.
talking about the warning. The warning that a permit was issued.
To the abutters, you're saying?
The intent to warn everyone was met.
To abutters or everybody?
to the abutters.
Okay, because East of Windham's isn't a butter.
Well, anybody driving by would see that, the warning notice.
So again, is it abutters or everybody?
Everybody.
Okay.
The butters get a written.
Well,
And then
I had
me
to pay.
driving by, I
Yeah.
can look out my window and see
Yeah.
But let's
you
not,
posted it.
we're confusing two processes
Yeah.
here. The process for a zoning permit, nobody gets mailed warnings that a permit has been issued, except for the applicant. In the case of a DRB application, then all of the abutters
Okay.
as well get written notice through the mail.
Well, what
It's
is
two
upsetting
separate-
is
it's
that
two
you
separate
did not
processes.
tell me that all these emails came in, sitting in that chair. Why didn't you tell me then? You just didn't think you needed to.
No.
Oh. Yeah. That's why I questioned you.
So let me ask you this. I think we're talking about, this is a little bit like talking about the method of delivery.
There's
what-
got to be a
so what
better
if-
one.
So what if I walk in the office and I ask Lori if you have a permit? Do you expect her to say yes or no? And if she says yes,
If she's got the paperwork.
do you expect her to then notify you that there was a verbal conversation between me and her?
No, but when I sat down for the first time, not knowing any of what I was supposed to do, and I asked him everything, I asked him all the questions that, how much,
I
what,
understand. I just want to focus on this one.
yeah, go
But
ahead.
you didn't ask him if he was going to talk to abutters.
What's that?
You didn't ask him if he was going to be corresponding with abutters.
Because
Or was
my
he-
engineer sent out blueprints to every single abutter, and it cost me over $350.
But,
I already knew that.
But what we're focused on here is he had emails with Isha Williams, who had asked if you have a permit, which is public record. And what you're saying is you expected him to relay every single one of those emails to you.
No,
What
just
I-
to tell me.
So if he just tells you, yeah, Isha Williams is emailing me, that would have been good enough.
If he would have told me there were people wanting to know if I was getting a permit, that's all it would have took, but he hid it from me.
I don't think he hit it.
Well, the
Well-
fact that the minute you put the sign up on your tree,
Yeah.
everybody knows. So there's nothing secret about this process.
True, but nobody knew, we didn't get the thing to the very last minute of the very last night.
Mhm.
It got dropped in the mailbox, right here. Not till the very next
That's
morning.
a separate process from your,
It was not.
from your permit, Mark.
Yeah.
So your permit was sent to you, you
Yeah.
posted it within the timeline, the appeals were met within the timeline.
Right.
Right, and so the one thing we owe you is a signature situation. But again, back to the emails.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have expected someone in the town office who had a verbal conversation to say, somebody walks in and says, is there a permit on, I don't know what the address on Middle Road is,
Mhm.
whatever, 550. And somebody in the town office says, yes, the permit's been issued, and then somebody walks out the door with that information in their head. Do you feel in that?
Only if he's had multiple, he said he had many, many emails.
Do you-
Why wouldn't you
Well,
send
but again,
anybody that?
you're
You sort of have
confusing
to
one
know
versus
the
many.
characters here.
Is it more than 3? Is it more than 4? Is it more than 2? Is it
It could have been
verbal?
just one, but never, not once he said anything about it.
Right, and so what would be the number?
Well, I would like to see those emails.
I understand.
And I want to see them.
I understand.
And I have the
Nobody's-
right to
nobody's
say
saying
He's
you can't.
gonna, he said he would get them for you, so he is gonna
Okay.
get those for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just clarifying what your expectation was.
Well, my expectation when I sat
process.
down, I didn't think I had to, I feel like I had to pull teeth out of people here to get answers. And the question is, a simple answer about certain things, and it started when he sent me an email saying he drove by and he didn't see the sign. And that's when the red flag went up, and I said, yep, thank God I brought somebody with me to put the sign out, and I took a picture. That was where it started.
Right.
That's where the whole thing, I said, yep, this is gonna be a process in itself.
Yeah, and again, I don't think anything that you presented in here is incorrect. I think you presented that the sign was up,
Yeah.
in the time it was supposed to be up, the appeal was filed, and the time it was supposed to appeal.
Mm-hmm.
There were questions asked by
Yeah.
people who were interested in the
Yeah.
permit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which they can ask.
So the only other thing I look at is, there was times, and there was times that I'm trying to get a hold of him, and I couldn't. Now, let me ask you guys sitting here, why isn't that the zoning administrator isn't here in the office when he's supposed to be versus working from home? There's no more COVID, that's gone. So are we making, is there anybody else that gets to work from home, or is he the only one?
Right now, he's the only one.
And why is that?
It made sense during COVID, and
Right, but
we
again,
haven't seen a reason to change that.
well, there's people that need questions
Well, they,
and answers and trying to
yeah,
call. It'd be nice if
he's a
someone was here.
He's a part-time employee, so they could come here on Tuesday morning, and he wouldn't be here because he wouldn't be working on Tuesdays.
Right, but the
So,
days that,
but he has a phone, and it goes to his voicemail or directly, and you can.
well, I
get
just
in
look
touch
at it
with
as
him.
if
You
I'm
can get-
paying,
Wait,
yeah,
you can
right.
get in touch with him through the phone and ask questions. He's pretty good at responding.
Okay, now,
Okay.
as being a taxpayer, I feel like anybody who's getting paid should be here in the office while they're gonna get paid.
Okay, we think it's
You know?
different. We think it's different.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay?
I'm gonna
You-
tell you
you
how
could-
exactly how I feel about it,
Yeah,
you know, and
you
it's
already
not,
have. You
I
already
don't
have.
think that's right, you know?
Okay, that's
We're
fine.
past COVID, all that stuff is over with, you know, let's move on, you know? Was that the reason why you worked from home?
Originally, yes.
Okay, well, now we're not there no more, you
Yeah.
know, so you feel like that should change
I don't.
because
It's working well right now. This is the best zoning administrator.
for you,
No, doesn't make any difference to me. It works well. He's not paid a whole lot. Just between you and me, he's not paid a whole lot.
Okay,
And
yeah.
so this is sort of a perk. He lives quite
Yeah,
a ways from here.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
the best, just between you and me, he's the best zoning administrator we've had in many, many years.
well, we
And
need to
wait,
have,
shh,
yeah.
quiet. You know, we're all, you know, volunteers. We have, we're begging people to come and join, you know, the boards.
Well, sign me up, because I want to come.
Okay,
Sign me up.
we'll talk about that
Okay.
later. You can call me and I'll tell you about that.
Right. Okay.
So we have many openings. It's hard to get people to, you know, sit on these boards. Most of them are volunteers.
Why do you feel that is?
People have other things to do. It's volunteer work.
But what is it? A half an hour out of someone's?
No, it can be a lot more than that. You can ask the DRB when you go talk with them how much time they spend.
And I think they're gonna ask you to be on it when you go there, right?
That's
Yeah.
Don't they
fine.
ask, they're
And
asking you.
again, I'm paying thousands of dollars to my engineer that has to go to the meeting.
Yeah.
That's another reason,
That's
you gotta
part-
hear me.
Part of doing
I've got
business. Part of doing
250 into this already, and we're not even at the DRB yet,
Right.
you know, and.
You're going to have your chance. You're
I-
on the border, so
I
you'll
know,
have your
I'm
chance.
just, the point is that stuff wasn't crystal clear to me, and that's why I'm here.
Okay, yeah, and we pointed out that the 150, where, you know, was
Yeah.
right there all
Yeah.
along, so.
Okay, that's fine,
And
Didn't see
he's
it.
gonna get you the emails that you'd like to
The
see.
emails.
Yeah, and we're gonna find out about
The state?
The signature.
signatures, so.
okay.
And then, yeah, when you go to the DRB, they'll probably ask you to, if you
Is
want
that
to
here,
join
or is there a
the
different
DRB.
building it's in, or?
Where will it be, Roger? Where is the DRB hearing?
Right here,
It'll be right here.
sitting right at this table,
Okay.
Okay.
or on Zoom.
Or on Zoom?
Yep.
Well, so they might not be here.
No, they'll most likely be here, unless one of them has COVID.
And how many people are there?
4 of them.
4,
4. And all town members?
yes.
Yes.
That's the law. They have to be a
Or-
member.
Town,
Have
own,
property in town.
have
They have
property
to
in
own
town.
property in town.
Right,
They have to own
not
property in
a,
town. Yeah.
not a member
All right, yeah.
of the town.
Well, for my 2 cents, I would love to have my town administrator here when he's getting paid. You know, I
Okay.
understand you guys don't feel that way, but
No, that's
And
your opinion.
there's 7 positions on the DIB, there's 4 members, so they're looking for 3 members,
well,
so.
like I said, sign me up. But
Planning
you can't sign
commission.
me up until I have my hearing.
You,
You know?
yeah.
Oh, isn't that a bummer?
What's that?
Yeah, it'd be a conflict of interest. So
Right.
you have to wait until
Exactly.
after your,
Right.
after,
So-
wait,
Yep.
quiet. You have to wait until after you've appealed to the DRB or gone through the DRB process, and when all that is over, then you can send the select board a letter that you're interested in becoming a member of the DRB. We'll have you come in here and we'll have a little chat, and
You
then,
five.
Right.
yeah,
And there's other boards that, there's the planning commission, I think they're looking for members.
Yeah.
And if you want, we can send you a list of all the,
the conservation commission.
Well, the other thing is that this group was, I actually was gonna sell it to them, but they backed out, I guess.
You're talking about the people that sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And they backed out. So they dragged me out for at least 2 months or a month and a half. And I said, okay, I'll sell it to you. This is what they told me, they wanted to buy it, well, excuse me, they wanted the state to buy it and the state to give it to the town so the town could have it as a park.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they told me.
Mhm.
And I was like, whatever,
Right.
you know, but they don't got the money, you know. If they did, they would have came to me. And they didn't. But I was giving them the benefit of the doubt,
Mhm.
which that didn't go very far, you know. So tried, you know, but so be it. And then I said, okay, I'm gonna build, you know. So I'm still waiting for my wetlands permit, and that's coming in shortly. And then from there, I guess by the time I actually get my, well, that's one thing. So the time I get my building permit, it's gonna be winter time. You're a builder, are you, or not? You know you can't build in the winter, you know. So when does that, how does that take effect? If they actually say, okay, here's your permit, and I say, well, because you got 2 years, I guess is what Roger told me. I want my 2 years to start in the spring, not in the dead of winter, because then I lose 5 months.
Right.
So, talking about the timelines are mandated by the state. Okay?
They are?
Yes. So the DRB has 45 days to issue their decision after the hearing.
Okay, so that puts it way into November.
Okay. Then there is a 30-day appeal period on their decision.
Okay, December.
If there are no appeals after those 30 days, then your permit would become valid. That's when the 2-year time
Dead of
starts.
winter. Okay.
No, that's when it starts. Did you hear that?
That's
what
when
he
my
said.
2-year starts.
that's what he's saying, because
Okay.
it's.
But I can't build in December.
So you're saying you're getting,
You can say 5 months until May or whatever.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
people, when they run into trouble with running out of time with the winter or whatever, will frequently email me to approve their permit for another 2 years, and I've done that in the past.
And that would apply to anybody, right? Any
Yes,
2-year
anybody.
permit. You
So
get
you're
it-
telling
even
me
if they get it
that
in May, they're gonna hit
if it
60.
runs out, all I gotta do is come back here and ask you for, what, a 2-year extension?
Yes.
And it's good.
Yes.
Okay, you know, one other thing that I wanted was, if I'm keeping the property, I'm gonna grow Highland cattle. That's my plan. If I kept it, that was the plan all along. So my question is, if I have a house and I grow Highland cattle, that becomes a farm, and what does that mean for zoning to you?
The state regulates all farming.
So you have nothing to do with it,
Well, I do, but
which is what?
so say you're going to build a barn. Okay.
Yeah.
So-
Feed the cattle. Yeah.
So a barn, if you're using it for farming,
Yeah.
under the state's definition, is technically exempt from local zoning permits, except for site plans, because it has to meet the setback requirements.
The same. Or
So you have to still submit an application that I review to make sure the setbacks are met, and then from that point, it's exempt, and you don't have to pay for a permit.
Yeah, okay. It doesn't have to, it doesn't go in front of another board saying, we have a comment period, or is that something?
No.
it sounds like he said it.
Okay, all right, because I'm just trying to get all my ducks in a row, you know, so I just look at that. So, when would I expect those emails?
I can gather them tomorrow.
Okay?
Yeah, I think he has 5 days.
Yeah, whenever, but I just want to know.
Okay. Yeah.
And then who on the board's gonna find out from the state about the signature?
I'll work with Roger to look
We
at.
can
We'll look up the
yeah.
applicable
We have
documents.
I have a portal to the VLCT. We can ask.
And then and what will you do? You will send me the link, or you will tell me that it needed to be signed or not?
I would send you the link. I would send it to everybody, the
Yeah.
link as well as
telling
What it
you.
says, so you have both.
So typically, the
That's right.
VLCT will send me a letter in return, and then we can forward that. You know, there'll be an answer there with the statute.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
And it's like, you know, I just look at it as, I'm from Brattleboro. If I need something, I go into the town office and the people work there. It's a hell of a lot different here.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be.
Great, isn't it?
It shouldn't
It's
be.
great.
It's not great, you know?
No, I think it's great.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, they have
You like that?
They have like 13,000 people, right? So you got to realize,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
you talked about, there's probably
And a lot
12 or
more money.
14.
the other
boards.
part of that
It's
is,
probably 12 or 14 boards.
if there's 13,000 people and I'm trying to build, because the state of Vermont has a housing crisis, you know, why wouldn't it be easier? You know, even the governor's saying he's willing to pay, if you want to put in a little efficiency, he'll pay you $50,000. If you're not aware, that's what they're willing to pay you, you know, which is crazy, right? But they are, you know, it's like, I didn't think it was going to be this difficult in a little town to get all the answers and ducks in a row, and it just, you know, when I purchased the property and I got all these people yelling and screaming, you know, we wanted a park, we want to be able to use it. Well, why didn't you buy it? You know, and then, you know, saying to the state, the people said the state was going to buy it and turn it into a park and give it to you guys.
Okay. No, I think we're going over this again.
No, I know. I just wanted. Okay, that's fine.
Thanks for coming in. Thanks
Okay.
for giving us this information.
All right.
We'll get back to you
Got a
on
list.
those questions.
Okay, and we'll take it from there then.
Yep,
All right.
and we'll look forward to the application to be on the DRB in a few months.
Yeah, we'll see. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully they accept me.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Mark.
See you later.
Mark.
Yeah.
Any other follow-up questions? Okay, well, that was an interesting public comment session. Let's see, road foreman's report. Let's see, FEMA was in town.
They
today.
came in today
Yeah,
and went over it in the Bunker Road. And, they were really surprised. That was the only thing we had in town. And Charlotte and Lee were in here, and they just did a great job with them and had all the information. And so that's in the process of being taken care of.
great. And it wasn't a huge amount of money.
No, it wasn't.
It's 3,500 or something like that. I think.
Let's say at least 3,600, because I think that's the cutoff.
Okay, all right, yeah, 3,600, yes.
And Megan from the state was here, and they got the email about the covered bridge.
Yeah.
And she said they were going to send around an email to everybody on the board. The state basically is, the town can do what they want with the covered bridge. Money-wise, they have no interest in, working on raising that.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't know if she sent the email out yet.
She did.
Yeah.
Oh, she did. Okay.
Yeah,
This afternoon.
Okay.
Yep.
She said she was going, and I wasn't sure.
She suggested reaching out to the Army Corps of Engineers about the watershed to see if they have data on flooding.
Right.
And I'd be glad to do that if you'd like.
Check at it. Yep, see what they say. Those guys can build stuff in about 4 minutes. So.
What's that?
The Army Corps engineers can build stuff in about 4 minutes once they get going. They're fast. Anyway.
I guess my biggest thing with that is the property at the east end of that, the covered bridge, is not going to be given to the town. It's going to, if anything, she wants to sell it. If the town wanted any of that, she wants to sell it and get money out of it. I'm just thinking, with the covered bridge where it's at right now, raising that covered bridge, I think would bring in a problem coming off of Route 30, and on the east end. So I don't know necessarily about, I just don't know if raising the bridge would be the right, at least in the location it's at, and to move that covered bridge is not, you're not gonna do that. But, so I don't know how much time we really, I mean, finding out what they think about the flood water going around the bridge, if it gets up that high, would be one thing,
That was the intent,
you know?
yeah, to look at the topography there and contour lines and see where, you know, if the water rose to the level of the current bottom of the bridge, you know, how much above that would you have to go to the point where the water would go around the bridge?
The bridge, yeah, bridge above.
Because if it hits the bottom of the bridge, it's going to take that bridge out. And I think there's probably data, you know, a civil engineer could probably tell us that if the Townsend Dam starts flowing over the spillway, an extra inch of rain would raise the level at the covered bridge by 1.5 feet or 2 feet. And I think with Irene, we got to within, what, 3 or 4 feet at the bottom of the bridge? And it wasn't coming over the spillway on the dam. So, you know, as I stated in our earlier meeting, I think it's a matter of when, not if, that bridge is going to be destroyed in a future, more intense storm.
Do you think they have the data from the last storm when they were talking about the spillway release? That they've already looked at it and said if that had happened, it would have been 3 feet or 2 feet. They
I don't
already
know.
have it.
They might.
Yeah,
It's
because I should have thought about it.
into.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
They were planning on releasing it
Correct.
once they thought Connecticut could take more.
Right.
And like I said, the only good thing about that last storm was how quickly the West River went down.
Right.
I mean, I sat there and watched it with my own eyes go down at least 6 feet. And, you know, went up to Fish Road and came back down, and it dropped that much. And and they were telling us that night that they were gonna, you know, release some water. And I'm like, well, at least it's gone down that much. And but the next day it was, and they ended up not having to release it either. So.
So, do we want Alex to look into this?
I mean, I can't, if he wants to, it can't hurt. So, yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. Let's see. There's a right-of-way. Question about right-of-way over in West Dummerston. Is it Lion Road?
Yes. Lion Street.
And question was, had it been tossed?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. I know back in whenever I went to school over there, that was actually, I remember it being the road and, you know, regular road, and now it's people's yards.
I guess there's a clothesline.
There's a clothesline, there's a few other things that are, you know, in there. So, and nobody's been able to find where it was either given to the town or the town had thrown it off.
Yeah.
You know, there's no.
So this is just part of the community center, right?
It's just north of the community, the road down.
Other side of the road, other side of West Street, right?
No,
No,
it's
it's
on
on-
the
it's
same
on-
side as the fire department.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you turn left to go into the, you turn left normally to go in the community center.
If you went down the community center driveway
Yep.
and just kept going right by the community
Yeah.
center, and you turned left there,
Yeah. Brings it back
that's and it would go right around.
And so the question is, and I wouldn't even thought that was a road down the community center every week. Can I go through there?
Well,
Is that the question? Is it a right of way or not?
Right, that's what, and I mean, there's a few options the town could do. I mean, if we found out that it was a town road, we could actually throw it up and, you know, in which somebody thinks that it used to be owned by the railroad, and the railroad may have given that land back to the property owners, and at some point the town might have taken it back. Nobody's been able to find it in the records, what's really happening with that road.
And what's I guess when I went through I didn't see whatever the letter was, I didn't see the map. What's the question? Are people driving through there now?
That's what I was gonna ask.
And what's the concern?
What's the problem we need
What's
to
the
solve?
problem?
What's
They're-
the problem?
Neighbors. It's the neighbors want, you know, and I'm not 100% sure what it is. I just know some neighbors want to say that this is the road, and other neighbors are saying.
So more than likely, they're coming from the north end.
I
They
don't
wanna be able to
even.
drive through to the house.
I don't even think they're trying to actually get down through there. I think it would be if you handed me that map
Yep.
really quick. Right here.
Going in the map.
So be right here. They come around here. So this would be the community center.
Yep.
Part right here, and this part here is somebody's yard. Okay.
Yeah, he's got a pickleball court.
Yeah, stuff right beside it.
Yep.
I'm thinking it's to do with right in here where the issue is. It would, if you'd like to go over there at some point, and you know, we could just.
Yeah, that was Lee's suggestion, that a couple members go with him and walk it and see what's
Right.
Right.
going
And
on.
it's the Wickers. So is that the point of contact? This is their land, right?
It may be the towns. I mean, maybe the towns right away.
Okay.
It's Guru Durham Kels's. He's at the right next to the community center. He's the first property to the community center.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
there's a bunch of different.
This one here.
Yeah, pickleball guy. I call him.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice court, by the way. Nice garden. All right.
So if that's
I'll
how
go
you-
look at it. I'd be curious to know.
So,
So have we been receiving state funding for this?
Yes.
yes.
Yes. So at this point,
This point, I mean, it's. Do we take it off the state funding or
Right.
you know?
and throw it up.
Right.
Which requires a public hearing.
Right.
What state funding?
Another,
Roads for every road in town. We in different
Yeah, so-
class.
yes,
class
it's right,
roads.
right now it's classified class 3. So it's maybe the only class 3 road in the state with a closed line on it. But Lee also suggested, well, maybe, you know, we have a public hearing to turn it into a trail.
Right.
That way the town still has control over the.
Yeah. And you.
Third option was to forget it, you know, everyone's forgotten about it for a long time, if we could just forget about it again.
I think we got neighbors talking about it, so you're not going to forget about it now.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
In the trail, the town doesn't have to maintain anything on that.
Right. No culverts or,
Bridges
Is that the
or-
same as a class 4?
No, it's actually even,
Less.
it's less.
yeah.
With a class 4, we have to maintain the bridges and culverts.
So why not throw it up and just let it revert back to the property owners?
Yeah, that would be. I think
Yeah,
that would be
it's-
the simplest thing to do.
It's one of those things though, it is the almost would be the simplest things if you didn't have neighbors. Because somebody's gonna say, I'd like to keep
Yeah.
walking on this, and if it's thrown up, I can't take my walk around. And I don't know if people walk, I don't know anything
Yeah, if
about
they
it.
do, they're gonna get clothesline.
Yeah,
So,
but yeah, so it's, you know, depending on how much resistance you get either way.
Right.
Because you'll get resistance, no matter what we decide to do, we're gonna get resistance.
So, so next step would be to go take a look.
yeah.
You want, you available, oh, I'm sorry, but
Yeah, let's go Friday.
Friday, I'll get a hold of Lee and
I'll
what,
check my calendar and email you just to see what meetings I have.
yeah,
But I'll find a gap in there.
okay, and we can do that, if you guys don't mind.
Great.
We'll go look at some culverts too.
Yeah.
Hot times.
You'll, what time?
Okay, so we'll wait for your report. Our next meeting. And maybe in the meantime, we'll sort of review the process for changing.
Oh, yeah, either throwing up a road or
Yeah, throwing up the road.
changing classification.
Yeah, okay.
We lose money.
Is there anything under correspondence for information you'd like to go over? Louis, did you get a chance to?
I did call and I was hoping, I didn't get a chance to call last week. I called this week and I have not heard back. I just called again at, I think it was like 2:30. All of a sudden it started ringing again. I guess he transferred me without telling me he was transferring me to somebody that wasn't there. So I left another message, so I have not heard.
Okay.
I did notice on, and I still want to know what it is, but the, what was it, GHS, I said they were saying that was the one where we got the ticket money for. The GHS patrol. That was actually grant time that we got, but, so what I want to find out there is that was grant time. Do we still get the money from the tickets? Or, you know, where does that money go for the tickets? So really it comes down to those 2 hours for the Humane Society time that I'd really like to know. But I do want to know if that has to do with the paving. And if it's something like that, it'd sort of be nice to, we all don't know the abbreviations for everything. Let us know a little bit more on it. But we can always call them too, so it's just a matter of.
Right, and I guess we can access information for Dummerston at the Sheriff's Department, but requires login and a few things. I was going to call and try to get
Who doesn't have a
information on how
record?
to do that. What?
Get somebody who doesn't have a record. Yeah. So you're out. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's see, is there any?
How did he know that? He's been looking me up.
I do have one question. There were a
Yes.
number of things in there from, I think it was in Vermont, Southern Vermont,
Mm.
Economic Council on, you know, contributing to the towns in the area, you know, where they take whatever $50 times your population. Are these things we've done in the past, or do we just get these routinely? And some things we support, some
Up
we don't.
until 2 years ago, it was something that they had to petition, you know, go out and get the signatures. 2 years ago, the board must have decided that they didn't need the signatures anymore, and they just, so I think what that letter is doing is asking it to be put on the petition at,
Put on the warning.
warning for,
Oh,
yes,
For town meeting.
for town
Okay.
meeting.
And it's pretty much automatically done, because once it's voted on favorably
Sure.
a couple of times, then it just goes.
Okay.
Let's see, ready for correspondence for discussion and or action. Any updates on the Salmon Brook erosion emergency watershed protection program?
I think I sent out an email. The only thing that is a little, those guys are really good. They spend like an hour at every property. I mean, they go down in, even at the Perry's place. It's like, dude, I guess I'll see you in an hour. Like, he went all the way down, and then all the way up and all the way around their property, took pictures, they measure everything. And then along Schoolhouse Road, behind all those. He's like, that's really going to probably be one project. It's kind of hard to break up, but he did come back from the Schoolhouse Road on the east side from the bridge towards the school, that on that land that's owned by Betty Bolster, I think. He's like, you guys concerned about your road? I'm like, I don't know, should I be concerned about our road? So he'll include that in his report. He thinks there's some concern that if that property starts to go, that it's going to take the road with it.
Right.
Schoolhouse Road. So he will include that as an item. And obviously we can just talk about that at the time. But so that kind of caught me off guard. Like, it's a long ways from the road, but apparently it doesn't take much. So
No, that's why that work that's done down by the bridge, you saw those big stones there, that was done to save the road
right.
earlier. And I mean, that whole bank is all tires.
Oh, I know.
And I mean, no, it's still up to, into the road,
Yeah.
underneath the road, it's still
is it?
tires. Yeah, it's,
Time under the road.
So the underneath with dirt on top.
oh yeah, they put those tires and they just kept, and that went way out, a lot further than you can even imagine.
Right. Well, and a lot of those tires are down the
Right,
street.
down, I know, but a lot of them were taken out when they did that other project.
Right.
And we hauled them off and, had to dispose of them.
So that may be something we want to. I mean, we'll see what they say. we did go down and talk to the other bolster who I've never met,
Cleon.
Cleon, because actually the heirs who are on the corner there, she was concerned about him back there because he's getting flooding. So we walked back there and met him, and they looked at stuff, and he's like, "We really don't do flooding. It's not their thing." And so, but it was, again, met him, understand his concerns, but water's basically getting up to his door when that thing starts running. So that's it. But they went to all those places. A couple folks had taken their names off the list. We didn't go to 453. They were redone their bank.
Right, yes.
They paid for it. So we'll just wait for the report. I have a checklist that I kind of made, so I know the next step, which is they're going to, submit an application and then they'll let us know cost. So that's where we're at.
Okay, great. Thanks for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Employee reviews. We
Those were good.
reviewed the zoning administrator this evening, and Lee is scheduled to come at 5:30 at our next meeting. We'll have a chance to have a review with our road foreman.
I'll be here at 5 o'clock.
Do we have anybody that's really upset with them that we should let know?
Oh boy. Should we see if the Grange is
Yeah.
open or?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's some stuff going on there. All right.
Okay, let's see. We got an email about trash at 3950 West River Road. And apparently this is on the river side, and there's a path or roadway in that might have gone to the railroad or something, but there's a house back there, and they've tried to block this road off, but people have been dumping trash there.
So you're saying, so it's up on the top then, it's not, I thought it was at the, okay.
No, it's on the,
It's on the river side of, if you're going north on Route 30, it's on the right. It's
okay.
between Route 30 and the river.
Okay.
yeah.
So is it where people park, right, for accessing the river?
No, I think
No.
it's further south, it's come south way a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you might not see it
yeah.
if you're just driving by.
I'm looking it up just to see.
But they were wondering if the town would come and clean up this trash. But Lori looked it up, and it doesn't seem like it's town property.
I don't see how it would be town property.
Yeah. So,
So it's up at it's where everybody parks to go to the beach.
No.
There's not?
It looked like it was. I looked it up on the Vermont Parcel Viewer,
Right.
and I'm a little confused about it. Let me open that up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you do, I'd like to take
It's right where the Rock River meets the West River.
Yeah, that's what it showed up.
no.
No? Okay. Google's wrong. Okay.
You know what, you know what,
It's
Todd?
only about a 2/10 of an acre parcel. It's
Yeah.
a tiny, tiny
Tiny.
little parcel.
On Friday, we'll go there.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Don't follow Google Maps. but Okay.
Yeah, I won't let you have Google
Right, yeah,
Maps
no.
on.
Yes.
So look,
Okay, so why don't you do that? We can hold off, and I can, if it isn't town land, then I can write a letter letting them know that. So we'll put that on hold for the time being. There's a Greenup Vermont flood recovery cleanup program in 3 days. And we could get involved with that if we felt there was flood-related debris that people wanted to get rid of. I thought it was kind of short notice.
Yeah.
and they kind of really run their own thing, don't they? I mean, that organization. I know they do Greenup every year, right? Once a year.
Yeah.
And it's really just that organization that runs it.
And it sounded like this was for personal property,
Yeah.
and I don't mean,
Oh, yeah.
At this,
but
at
not-
this point, most people, if they've had flood, it's probably cleaned up anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I thought trying to get a
This is.
dumpster and everything in a
Road
short
to-
time frame,
Yeah,
that we just pass on this.
I think so,
Unreasonable.
yeah.
30.
Okay, let's see, we got a letter from the Windham NAACP chapter. They're having an event later in the fall and wanted to know if the town wanted to sponsor that. And I would just think we don't have a fund that we can
That was my thought, I
use
mean,
on discretionary
Right.
things like that, so.
Yeah.
So I'll look over the letter again and I can write
okay,
to back
okay.
if they were expecting a response. Let's see, which brings us to new business. And we have to remember the views article, but ARPA updates and discussion, if any. And
Yes, so the, Ray Anello, who was,
yeah,
when we were at the Grange, he came. So he caught me Sunday morning after church, and he wanted to know where it stood with the tent and what we had decided. I said we haven't decided anything. It's still being considered. So I know, Louis, you were going to look into.
I called the community center
Mm-hmm.
and they still haven't given me an answer. I'm going there tomorrow, tomorrow morning, so I will talk to Randy tomorrow, because I'm supposed to meet him at the community center tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So I will ask him if they have thought any more about that. They told me they were going to discuss it at one of their meetings, and they never got back to me, so I don't know whether they had or not.
Okay. Is it, we were gonna ask them if they wanted to actually purchase it and own it.
Own it, yes, themselves.
So is it possible for an entity such as the community center or the Grange, who we've already given money to, can they purchase the tent and then physically just donate it to the church so that then the church owns it
Without ARPA money, you're saying?
with ARPA money?
Oh, with ARPA money.
yeah.
I don't know.
Still, I'm still on the separation of church and state
Mhm.
bandwagon, so I'm uncomfortable doing that. But
Mhm.
they, one thing that some of the members of the church do is the wood bag, the firewood bag,
Mhm.
and I think that's a great service to the people. And so I'd say we could use ARPA to make a donation towards the tent in recognition of their,
For the wood pantry?
yeah.
Yeah, like I said, when I had talked to Paul, is who I talked to from the community
Mhm.
center, and it sounded like when I talked to him that they were, if they were interested in it, it was interested in it for the community center,
Mhm.
and to, if the church needs it for their apple pie festival, that's what I got out of it, is not them giving it to the church, not, to me, that's a backdoor deal, and that's
Right,
not what
exactly.
I think we want to do. But it sounded like they may, and he said he was going to talk to the members, and I haven't heard back from him. So like I said, I'll talk to Randy tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't
So,
think I'm on the long
Here's
side
this
opposite side of you.
parcel.
I'm not really
as I
worried
can
about
tell.
the church state situation here. This is
So,
again, when you kind of read, at least what I've read a little bit about it,
and the land.
if it's not being
surrounding it
used for
is this parcel
expansion of the church
Looks like
ministry
it's
per se,
owned by the town of Dummerston.
that doesn't qualify as a constitutional issue, right?
So
And you have to look at the same thing if we're going to have a community center own it, let's say.
I mean, I'm
But then
not
loan it to the
clear.
church, we're
Maybe
still in the
this
exact
is
same boat.
state.
Right,
It's either yes or no.
right.
So I think we just have to, if our money's going to be spent,
There doesn't-
who owns it's irrelevant unless you're going to say that the church simply cannot use it.
Right.
I think it takes additional research.
Yeah. I'll toss out
Uh-huh.
again the idea of making a donation towards it, but not footing the whole bill.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, something to consider. I mean, I don't think the community center has the funding to, fill out half the price. Was it 10,000 or something?
Yeah, about
Nine or 10
10,000.
Yeah,
9 and some change.
yeah.
What you're saying though is to give some of the ARPA money to the church. Is that what I'm hearing? For them doing the
Yeah,
wood
a
pantry.
community service.
Right. And you're saying,
I like this. Is how you're gonna tell me what I say, because that's if I didn't make it clear, then
that you don't have the issue with the church and state.
not in this instance.
Okay.
In a lot of other instances, I'm
And your one of your reasoning is because if the community center had got the money and got the tent, and they let the church use it, it shouldn't be.
we're in the same point.
You're thinking that's the same thing as us just giving the money to the
That's how
community
I-
center.
Yeah.
I mean, giving it to the church. Yeah.
I mean, this is obviously, we're all just reaching here for in our constitutional law books.
Well, no, I mean, one thing that I said to them too was, this used to be the fire department's tent.
Right,
And the
right.
fire department made a lot, I mean, that was one of their biggest fundraisers.
Right.
That tent was used about every weekend.
Mhm.
And they had the crews to put it up and take it down.
Yeah.
So this could actually be, and I just don't, when I asked the church about it, they were like, we don't want to, necessarily charge people to use it. And it's like, well, you don't have to, it's a donation to use it, because down the road, you're gonna need another tent. And you gotta be looking down the road. And if you raise $10,000 even in 5 years, the rest of that money could go to whatever else you wanted to use it for. I mean, and so the community center, if we gave the money to the community center and they decided they wanted to do that, it could be, or the fire department, it could be a moneymaker for them.
Right, it's the community center, that's a good point. So the community center has it, we buy it for them, they've got it, and if somebody else wants to use it, they pay rent for it.
And it could be
Right.
the same with the fire department.
Right.
Yeah, for anyone
Yeah,
that uses it.
exactly.
The Grange
Anybody-
wants to it, the school needs
Well,
it.
do you want me to talk to Dan Riddle at Hoover, who was part of the fire department and spoke at that meeting at Grange, to see if that's something that they might be interested in?
Yeah, I mean, if you'd like to get a hold of the fire department to see if that's something that they want to get back into doing, is that, I mean, and I would say, I mean, then, I guess, then there goes the next question is, if they're gonna be making money on it, do you really want to give them the whole amount, up front, or say, you know what, we'll do, again, the donation, we'll do however much, because you're going to be making, this is possibly a moneymaker for you. I'm just throwing these out there for you.
Yeah, I'm thinking we've given enough ARPA money to the fire department for this round. We've certainly given enough money to the Historical Society for this round. So
you're not thinking getting a hold of the fire department would be a good, or I guess getting a hold of them to find out if it's something they would like to do.
By the way, speaking of the fire department, I was just chatting with Dan yesterday. They've been talking about the whole budget issue, and they would like to meet with the select board at some point when we get into the budgeting season, and do that in a public meeting, because they want to be fully transparent about budgeting and make that information available not only to us but to the towns.
All right, that's good. Back to the tent. Any further thoughts on the tent?
I just want to ask really quick. Fire department's a separate entity. We give them money.
Yeah.
Is community center a separate entity too? Or are they
Yes.
part of the
Yes.
town? So same thing, same
But it's
position.
different. The community center is a separate 501c3 organization, but we own the building that they use
And we lease it to them.
Right.
for $1 a year. or
Yeah, I think I like the idea of the community center. And we pay for some of it. They can then rent it out to help cover some of the expenses for the half or the third that they pay. And then everybody can use it based on whatever the cost.
I think one of the issues when the
Kinda
fire
remembers
department used to own it, they had a whole committee that would, volunteers that would set it up. And that's where they made their money, setting up this tent.
Ah.
Dan Snow was on that
Well,
committee.
they had three different crews, or four, I think, to start with, and it went down to three.
Yeah.
So when it was four, you knew the crew that you were on, once a month, you were setting up the tent and taking it down.
And it's a lot of effort setting it up.
Right, but if
So
you
I
start
don't
doing
know that
wedding receptions, then they could
I don't know that
fund the
the
whole fire
community
department,
center-
buy a new fire truck after a couple
Too late,
of
they
years.
don't need the fire truck.
I don't know that the community center has that manpower.
Well, this is also a smaller tent.
Right.
Yeah, it's something to see what they say.
Right. So like I said,
Okay.
I'll
So-
talk to him.
All right, so. we'll-
But I think, Alex, if you did want to talk to, what would you say? Dan, and just see if the fire department is interested in getting back into the tent business.
They probably aren't.
I wouldn't think they would be, but
Okay, so we don't have an answer yet. So we'll keep bringing it up. Let's see. Sheriff Department, Animal Control meeting on Monday at 10 a.m. It was a Zoom meeting that I attended, and it was just the bylaws of the animal control program requires that they have a meeting of the town, the different towns, once a year. So it was a 15-minute meeting to explain that they didn't really have any business to bring up or talk about, but that maybe in the future they'll move it to December and possibly have some budget information for the towns at that time. So,
Is that part of what we pay them for? Is part of our pay that goes to them to do animal control?
yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and that's a pretty new thing. It's been going.
That's a separate contract from their
Okay.
traffic control.
All right.
Yeah, but we've been doing it for maybe 2 years now.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay, let's see. Okay, we had email from the treasurer wanting to confirm highway part-time and wages and the emergency management director wages and paid holidays for the treasurer, if that was the thing that.
okay, if you break that down into two things,
Yep.
or two different parts, I will sit over here and recuse myself from
Okay.
part of it.
Okay, so let's take the highway. Well, yeah, you've got two parts there.
I'm listening now.
Yeah.
So when we did the budget, of course, you and I were the only ones
Yeah.
on the board that were
Right. and
part of that budget.
I think your notes are going to be better than mine on this.
So we approved for the part-time, the hourly rate was $18 an hour for
Okay.
the part-time highway.
Okay.
And the EMD wages, after speaking with Marty, the EMD, they remained at $18 an hour. He didn't see a reason to change that.
Okay.
And that was what when we were doing the budget, that's what we
Okay.
came up with. So both of those wages, we increased the part-time highway to 18 and the EMD remained at 18.
Okay. Okay.
So,
And great. So I can just confirm that with Charlotte.
mhm.
Okay. Louis,
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, you know, we started a while ago.
Oh.
So, this is probably a you and me thing again, since we were,
I don't recall any discussion regarding paid holidays for the town treasurer. We would have to go back to the personnel policy.
Yeah.
And I thought that it had to be a 40-hour work week, but I could have that wrong.
Right. We made an exception for the town clerk several years ago.
Was it insurance or, no, what the heck was it for? We made
It
the
was
exception.
insurance,
It was insurance.
but I thought she got holidays also.
I think she does
Yeah,
get holidays.
yeah.
And she's under the 40 hours.
Right, she's at 30.
Yeah, so she gets benefits of what had been a 40-hour.
Yes, and I believe that's the only exception that
And
was
is that
made.
prorated, but to 30 hours or full?
Full.
Full.
Let's see.
It was actually Geraldine and Hugh rewrote the personnel policy.
Yeah.
So whatever is in that is, and I don't recall that the treasurer,
No, I know not in that edition. We didn't make any new exception to that.
no.
Okay. All right.
This would be something for the budget time though.
Yeah.
We are gonna have to, be paying a different treasurer next year, and we might wanna look at, we're gonna wanna get a good candidate in there. And so we may have to look at the pay and, if we wanna do benefits, or, just something to look at. Because
Right.
we need somebody that's capable of doing
Yes.
the job.
Maybe the gentleman that was in earlier wanting to become.
Maybe he might run for it.
Yep. Let's see. I talked with Charlotte earlier, last week actually, and she's concerned that she hasn't heard anyone expressing an interest in running for treasurer. There's still plenty of time, but she was hoping we could come up with a contingency plan because she would not like to, or she expressed that she did not want to continue as treasurer.
I don't think she has a choice really. If nobody runs, it's on her, right? I mean, we just write her name in a couple times.
Lewis is going to talk to Charlotte.
Well, I had the conversation with her today, and I did tell her that. So
Yeah. And you brought this up at the last meeting. Do you want to get in touch with VLCT and see what our options are?
You mean for a service that would
Yeah.
do that?
What are our options if?
no one runs.
Yeah.
Selectboard chair has to do it.
Well, that'd be
How
fine
many,
with me.
how many hours does Charlotte work?
23.
What does she get paid? Is it $18 an hour?
No.
No, it's
No,
more than
19
Something.
something.
Okay.
that. Yeah.
I should know. Is it just put it on the warrant?
Okay. Anything else on that? So, if we had to hire a company to do this,
Mm-hmm.
and you may even want to talk with Charlotte about, she has ideas about this.
Does the treasurer does not have to be a Dummerston resident?
I don't think
I don't believe.
so. Maybe if we appointed the treasurer, they wouldn't have to be a town resident. If they ran, I think they might have to be.
Yes. Right, but we could hire an outside, like an accounting firm
Yes,
or a bookkeeping service, or,
that's what I think.
but we'd almost have to know,
Ahead of,
so that during budget,
Mhm.
we could at least have that as an option in
Yeah.
the budget if need be.
Right, yeah, we're gonna have to do
Because
something.
we won't know until, I mean, somebody may not take out a petition until January,
January, the end of January.
and we've already set the budget, and
Right, we're going to have,
So some towns, if I understand it correctly, have changed from it being an elected position to appointed. You know, which
Yes.
opens up that option for being a non-resident.
I don't think you can do that unless you ask the voters, right? If you can't change an elected to an,
Right, I
That's
was gonna say,
probably
yeah.
longer
without,
process.
without an election.
Right, without election, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
so that might be something we have to do. We're going to have some numbers for
Mhm.
this that we are able to change
Yes.
at maybe by the end of January for.
Mhm.
You know, the sad part about that though is, we're talking, we may have to change the number, make it higher. And what are we saying about the
Yeah,
treasurer?
why not do it? Yeah.
Well, why haven't we done it sooner, you know?
That's what I was thinking.
Right.
It's-
Well,
Or putting it out there that, you know, this is what we're thinking our hourly rate's gonna be for, you know, it's,
right. Well,
Yeah, if we learn that the cost to outsource it would be a lot higher, you know, we might take that into account in figuring the
the
budget
budget,
for it.
right.
You know, might Charlotte be interested if the rate goes up? Or-
don't think so,
I
no.
don't think so.
She's done.
Well, it's a classic discussion. I'm sure it could go a lot. Pay her $500 an hour, she might do it. But so
I might even put on my treasure.
there's not no number.
Something you could ask her too.
Mhm.
I almost think that
I think she's,
since we are talking about, well, we might have to increase these wages, I'd sort of say, look, Charlotte, you can have the 4th of July off, or, you know, the paid holidays.
well, I was,
The last couple of
when
months.
this was being asked, that's exactly what I was looking at. I'm like,
Yeah.
how many holidays would we actually be paying her? Because,
Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's.
right,
She's missed Battle of Bennington Day already. Oh, Labor Day, so I'd say,
would you like a motion?
yeah, I would.
I'd like to make a motion that we, pay the town treasurer paid holidays.
How about we have, okay,
Because she's the only other person that would qualify.
What if we stated in recognition of her exceptional service? to
We don't
make it
want
a
her
one-off?
head, we don't want her head to blow up. Oh, sorry, Charlotte. No, that's, I mean, yeah, that's, well, yes and no, I mean, yes.
Or are we making it a permanent
I think
thing?
we're making it a permanent, would make it a permanent thing.
okay,
And this is for Charlotte though. So,
Okay.
starting now, effective.
okay, so we've got a motion,
I'll second that.
okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Okay, I'll let her know. All right. Good.
You guys didn't want to go back for the road crew and the EMDs and raise that pay too? I mean,
You were paying
You weren't here, sorry.
son of a gun.
So we will be over budget when we,
Right.
in the treasurer line item, by the holiday pay.
See, somebody's always gonna throw a wrench in that.
Yeah.
How
Well,
much time's left in the, when's our fiscal year?
It started
July.
July 1st, so we go till
So
the end of
just started.
June.
So 8 hours, 9 federal holidays. assuming we do not, maybe it's whatever. 8 hours each.
Oh, no. It's for,
For what's 32 hours?
It's prorated, right? Is it prorated?
Okay, so 9 times 4 times whatever she makes, I'm just gonna guess. So $700. That's what that's gonna cost.
we can have it just be, go till town meeting, and then we decide whether we want to have it be part of the package, or,
What was your motion that this was for the, permanently for the town
Yeah, it
treasurer's
was.
position?
That was the motion. We can,
Fix the budget.
we can change that, and I mean, but we've already voted on it.
Right, so,
So we've already voted on it, so.
right.
I didn't do the budget, I went here.
Okay.
I'm sure there's,
We're gonna be, I think we'll be okay with it.
I think so.
there's no way, no hours being put in as under the, our assistant,
That's
because we
true.
don't have an assistant.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
There
I
are,
think we're good.
Well done.
Okay, let's see, the views article. Let's do September 12th. I was wondering,
Boy, that's tough. Turns right to you. Wow. It's not, does anyone want to?
I
So
was
Eric,
wondering if you
Alex.
would want to do one, talking about the treasurer's office being open and trying to really drum up some interest in that. Unless anyone has, unless anyone else wants.
It's probably a good idea.
That means no, that's what kids do nowadays.
Kids. I mean, it seems like a good idea, right? How, whether it's Alex or me or someone else, right? So that people understand what's, I mean, I'm sure everybody doesn't know when they vote on it, but still.
Right.
I don't think they really understand that it's paid, that it's part-time, whatever. It probably would help to have it out there.
It's due when, September
12th. Yeah.
We'd like to see your outline on September 1st. I'm just kidding.
I don't think it would hurt either to all the other committees in town that are in
Yeah,
need
sure,
of,
yeah, you can, yeah,
yeah,
Or that'll be for
this
Yeah.
will be,
yeah.
you'll get a certain number of points for every new person you are
Oh.
able to
bonus
reward,
pay.
Yeah.
or, you know, at least,
I just got someone for the Energy Committee.
yeah, congratulations.
The past is past, man.
Not what you
The,
did.
the moment's over, Alex.
All right,
What you gonna do?
All right, I'll take that on.
great, thank you. Okay, I think that takes care of that new business other than the special events.
I'll make a motion that we recess the meeting and convene as the liquor control board.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, there's a special event permit for October 21st from 4 to 10 p.m. at the Scott Farm. And there's a special events permit on the 9th of September at Campfires. And I believe that's their bacon and
I think so.
brew program.
I move the approval of both special event requests permits.
You wanna do?
Oh, let's do one at a time. Let's do the Scott Farm first.
Yeah.
I'll move the approval of the Scott Farm special event permit.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstention. Okay, and now we have the Whetstone Station and Brewery for an event at Campfires.
I move the approval of a special event permit for the Whetstone Brewery at Campfires on September 9th.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Great.
So I'll make a motion that we adjourn as liquor control board and reconvene the regular meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, is there any other business?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'm glad he gave us these folders though.
Nobody wants to second my
I'll
adjournment?
second it. I just wanted to mention the folders on the record.
Yeah, they're very nice.
They are.
Use this for all sorts of things. Okay, let's see.